Riley Martin and the Coming of Tan.
All right.
Now this is where you get to shine. You are the expert, as indicated by your Chiron.
This is exciting because I'm not familiar with this particular story.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of winging it here. I got some highlights here, but basically a little bit about Riley Martin is that he passed away about 5 years ago, but he was a regular on the Howard Stern show. And how I found out about him was when there were still HTML sites on the web, probably 10, 12, 13 years ago. Me and a couple of buddies of mine would look into different conspiracy theories. A lot of times looking at like underground military bases and underground tunnels all over the desert and things like that. When I came across him, one of the amazing things about Riley Martin is his whole package. So his aesthetic, he wears a vest most of the time, along with a headband that really just like kind of tells. Yeah, there it is.
And the walking stick.
Voice,
nice addition.
Yeah, it's his voice that really tells the tale and tells the story. So I've read the book, The Coming of Tan, along with listened to a couple different interviews, and it's about his alien abduction as a child, and he ended up getting abducted twice. And he wrote a book about it. And so the book's called The Coming of Tan. And this is my copy that Dave's got a picture of up there. And
you've met him.
Wow.
So, so he goes through and tells a story. You can actually listen to it. It's on like 16 parts on YouTube. I would suggest that because it's actually really rad that the way he tells the story and everything, because it's kind of like, how to explain Riley Martin a little bit more. If there's the crazy guy that is selling trinkets outside of a mega gas station on a freeway in the middle of nowhere desert that's telling stories, this would be it. And
that was the exact vibes I was getting. Exactly. Although instead of a gas station, it was like a Whole Foods, but continue.
That works too. But yeah, that's a little bit about him and his aesthetic. As we get to the end of this, I'll tell you about how I ended up with symbols and stuff like that. But Tan is the actual name of the alien that abducted him, where he ended up on the Great Mothership.
Okay.
I guess I'll just start with this, like a little bit about who Tan is. So Tan is a Biaviian, and as he went to the Great Mothership, these are different Biaviian symbols. And so part of the time when Riley was abducted the first time, they put him on a table, and he goes through graphic detail in the book, telling about like what he saw in the actual spaceship. There were some experiments going on with different aliens. He talks, and we'll go through the pictures here, that there's like 6 different types of aliens. But before we get there, I'll just keep rolling on this. At one point, he smokes weed with these aliens. This is what Tan looks like. He's a Biaviian. He ends up having sex with one of the aliens. They definitely probe him.
You got to probe.
Talk shit to them the whole time, too. So him and actually befriend each other and end up busting each other's balls. And the one thing that he talks about is that I believe it's another group of the aliens called the Targs that they're in a constant battle with or a war with.
These guys right here.
The Tarkesians, but he calls them Targs for short.
That was the pilot that came up to him and grabbed a thing that the other alien gave to him in the intro cartoon, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the Targs are a lot more aggressive, whereas Tan is just like an explorer that meets Riley and does his probes and things like that, and befriends him and smokes weed with him. At one point, they give him what's equivalent to like a 5-hour energy drink or something like that. So, along with this, the Biavians upload 144,000 of those symbols into Riley Martin's brain.
Oh yeah, the symbols right here. These beautiful things.
Yeah, these beautiful symbols, and so these are just pictures I took from the back of the book. But as we go through, I did send pictures of the symbols that I possess. We'll get to those in a bit. But
Awesome.
so part of it is that eventually the Biavians are going to come back to the planet Earth, and if you possess a symbol, because Riley had all these implanted into his brain, and he was drawing them while he was alive and spreading the knowledge and the words of this, is that if you possessed a symbol, you would be considered when the great mothership does arrive, because they come to sort of like a Noah's Ark type deal. It's not that they're taking 144,000 people, is that there's only 144,000 symbols, and if you have one, you will be considered. So part of that
it is not a guarantee of entry. It is merely you have applied.
Yeah, he harps on how you will be considered. So
interesting.
My wife and I are in possession of symbols.
So you're considered.
I will be considered when the Biavians arrive. My son, we haven't got him a symbol yet, but I don't know. I know he was giving out symbols. They were still selling symbols once he passed. But I've got another child on the way in January, and I think we're going to end up getting symbols for the both of them. So,
good insurance just in case.
I think I saw.
Yeah. You know, like everyone's just like, well, why not? And I'm like, you know, I like this guy's story. I didn't mind kicking him a few bucks, and when they do arrive, like, I want to be considered. You know.
Yeah. What's that? What's the Leibniz? What's the wager? Is it Leibniz's wager? It's like that, but for aliens here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't want to survive the apocalypse on Earth, but if the Biavians come, you know, I'm down for a wild ride for a bit.
Yeah, honestly, that'd be great. It's like there's many science fiction things pull that. They're like, oh, you guys can come on now.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can go through a lot of the different aliens here. So there's like six different.
Let's go to the Stygians. You've listened to it, so you know how to pronounce it, sort of, right?
Yeah, well, it's that I've read the book and I listened to his audiobook where he pretty much tells the same thing. So
cool.
I believe he calls these the Stags. And then I don't really have much about, like, he goes into about the Targs and the Biavians being in an ancient war with each other, but not so much the other ones, except that I'll tell more once we get to the other one, though. So, yeah, we can go ahead and move on.
Oh, my.
Oh, she looks cute.
Yeah.
Is there a name at the bottom of that one?
Oh, let me put this back up here.
I went to school.
There we go, the Dorians. The Dorians. So I think this may be the one that he had intercourse with, or he saw them having.
Okay.
So this.
Oh God, is she a gray?
That does not look like a gray to me.
The book kind of touches on a little bit of everything in that nature, and it's just kind of ridiculous with his commentary being. He reads his own book the same way if you've ever heard any of his commentary on YouTube about anything. Mm-hmm. So that's where his voice projects, and his vocal delivery is really great.
Awesome. So
this one's the Neptuneians, and he doesn't know much about them. Mm-hmm. And that's the next one.
Except they're hot, apparently. Okay, so this is the lady, and then Neptunians. These guys. This is
the Neptunians.
Big boy. Okay.
And so I do believe, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not polished on all this stuff, but that he tells us that he didn't see this one, but this was informed of him from his meeting with Tan.
Tan's like, okay, so these other guys.
Pretty much.
Okay. They look like they like to lift. They're good on the protein. They're watching their diet.
Yeah. I mean, when you're out in space by yourself for a long time.
They get to do the 100 times gravity thing. Okay, we got the Screeds, which do not look friendly.
Yeah, they are not friendly. So these folks are, if you think about the Men in Black movies, that they're the bug aliens.
Oh, like the cockroach.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So these are definitely not nice, and when he even talked about, Tan gets uneasy about them.
Ooh. Damn. Then did he actually meet any of these or no?
No, it's just mainly that he met Tan, and then
Okay.
there was a Targ on the ship, on the Great Mothership, also.
Okay, I do like that. It's like he meets a guy, and then they smoke weed, and then the guy tells him all kinds of cool stories about these other dudes he knows.
He basically tells them about all the. Oh, one thing, and I forget which race it is. So he gets abducted twice by the Biavians with Tan,
Mhm.
and then abducted by one of the other alien races there, where I forget which one it is though, but he does get abducted for a third time, and they're not nice to him, and so he doesn't have good things to say about that experience.
I'm betting it's more of a reptilian kind of one. That's usually how these kind of stories go.
Yeah, they totally did. But I was gonna say that one insect one kind of looks like the Observer in the David Huggins book. It's the alien that watches him have sex.
Yeah. Do you know David Huggins at all?
I do not, but let me write that down because I will.
It's a real journey.
It's kind of our unofficial book of the show. I'm probably going to read this at the end of the month for Halloween.
Nice.
He was abducted as a child, but then kept getting abducted and became a painter and painted his experiences, which are
very
in many
erotic,
cases, extremely graphic sexual encounters with a gray alien named Celeste or Crescent.
Oh, Crescent.
Crescent. I'm so sorry, Crescent.
And then
if you search alien with big naturals, that's the first thing that pops up.
No shit. That's
definitely, this rings a lot
like
of bells, especially when you said Celeste right there. So it's I definitely will buy his book and read it one good time.
So it looks like the Screeds like to hang out on his ship too, but just to be big old pervs. Okay, so what do we got here? It's not a cake.
This was an unknown. So it's kind of like in the ship that there's just samples of other things, and so it may not be an alien, but there's just he knew that he wasn't the only one that was like getting probed and things like that.
It's a thing in a jar that they have.
Right. Exactly.
Like that cool ass area in Flight of the Navigator, where he gets to take a peek at what's in there.
Yeah, exactly. He shouldn't be looking at that.
Yeah, no. And what do we got here? Ooh, is it an engine of some sort?
Yeah, so these are just like a couple different drawings that he has where he talks about that's the top view of the actual spacecraft itself.
Okay. Okay, so and then we got a
view of it.
This base.
There's the craft, and then there's the Great Mothership.
Ooh.
The Great Mothership.
That's sick looking. That looks a lot like my base in No Man's Sky. That rules. Mine's not floating. Yeah. This is near the Earth's moon. No wonder NASA's trying to get themselves some nuclear rockets.
Exactly.
There we go.
We got to get there, and we got to make sure that we know what's going on with the Biavians.
I do love the cute little flying saucers coming out of it. Those look great.
Yeah.
Very detailed.
Yeah. Oh, what's this here?
So that's the capsule that he stays in, and I believe it's written above there. It's a rejuvenation chamber. It's aboard the mothership.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And then you basically have, it says it's a robot neurosurgeon. So you got the robot on the left, and then they have the Biavian on the right. So the Biavian pilot. So Tan is basically like this guy.
The guy on the right. Yeah,
the guy on the right. Yeah.
And the other one. This is extremely the scene in Empire Strikes Back where you're getting floated in the little. And there's the droid next to him in the tube.
I mean,
back to tube. That's awesome.
It's a good reference.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. So we got the Neurotronic Computer.
Yeah. So this is also where they, kind of pull up all their files and everything else to tell him these stories about all the different alien races and what's going on, with the ancient war and where they've been and what they've done and things like that.
Nice. Oh, is this where you got programmed with all the symbols then?
Well, a few pictures from now, it'll show us that.
Ooh, okay. Oh, what's this gentleman here?
So this one ends up being this is the royal mate to Shigog, warrior, queen supreme, high commander, Targ Galactic War Force, Targ Wars, from 45,000 BF. Seen on the
very specific.
or archived videotapes of 1975.
I want to see those. That sounds badass.
Well, the best part about it is, and when you see these pictures in the book too, it's also like this was hand drawn by memory from 1995 when it says that he saw these on tape when he got abducted in 1975.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so he was, of course, he's an older guy. So, and this is when he was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, kind of flipped a bit, but. Oh.
This is where they're actually implanting the 144,000 symbols into his psyche or into his brain. They're downloading them and.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so this is the memory implant.
Basically.
This is some good times.
Yeah, and that's where he ends up getting laid on the spaceship.
I like the lights on the bed. It's extremely a 70s Vegas look going on there.
Yeah.
Is she wearing an off-the-shoulder cat suit? Because that's fierce.
Well, that's what I always thought. I was like, is she wearing like leopard print out in space? Because if so, I'm if I get abducted, that's what I would prefer.
That's fantastic. And yes, especially if YouTube is going to try to auto-censor this. That is clothes, not her alien skin.
She's riding him like she doesn't
And
need
of
the
course,
cash.
there we go. We got him with Howard.
Oh,
Yeah, so this
that
is
is
him
cute.
with Howard. When my wife purchased actually she got me a Biavian symbol. So I'll tell a little bit of story about that. So
Nice.
my wife, I'm gonna give a plug for my wife and why she's the best ever.
Awesome.
Here it is. So she, I told her about this and how I was just interested in it. And when I looked it up, I figured that these people were like selling these Biavian symbols for like $300, $400, $1,000 or something like that. And I can read stuff off of here, but she basically put in an order, and it was like a $50 for a symbol, and he would hand draw the symbol, but he had to get information from my wife about me and about my background, and so that's where
Well, you got a custom symbol.
exactly he would pick it of the 144,000, and then he would write some of this stuff in here, and he asked like questions like, is he a good singer or this, that, and the other, like in so basically it says Paul Russell Brown, which is my name, long life, health, prosperity, and then it tells about me. And given that she told the story about how my internet name is Ronnie Thunder because that's the actual nickname that my friends have called me for 15 years and you just can't get away from it. That, when she met me, she didn't know my real name for like 3 or 4 months because all my friends called me Ronnie.
Nice.
And so these are things that he just writes about me, and it's like artist, writer, actor, singer, chef, carpenter, technician, painter, gardener, teacher, salesman, fisherman, comedian, counselor, visionary, theorist, researcher, great spirit. You are of royal, ancient, Atlantean, Sumerian, Akkadian, Egyptian, Scythian, Eurasian, Gladiator, Icelandic, Teutonic, Norse Viking, Ming Dynastic, Highlander, Scot, Saxon, English, Dutch, Celtic, Druid, Germanic, Japanese birth. We welcome your coming again unto this time. And then it says, my Biavian name will be Ozan Krom, which is Royal Prince, Explorer, Scientist, Warrior, Mystic Time Walker, signed Riley L. Martin, and it says, possession of this ancient royal mystic symbol grants you wayfarer status of the highest order. May peace be with you. And then it's dated.
That's awesome.
Wow, it's like an intergalactic passport.
Cool.
Pretty much.
For $50?
And it's more useful than an American one now.
Exactly. And he left my wife like 3 different voicemails on an old phone. She kept the phone for a while. There's another one where he sends a thank you letter, and I have both of these like laminated.
Nice.
This is my wife's symbol. So My wife got me my symbol for my birthday in 2012. We ended up getting married in 2015. Actually, tomorrow is my 5th-year anniversary or 5-year anniversary.
Oh wow! Congratulations!
Thank you. But one cool thing that I did for my wife, and I brought this here. I got one of those books made about our adventures together.
Oh yeah.
On like Shutterfly or something like that. And in the book, along with me getting her a Biavian symbol, Riley was sick at the time, so it was through like the inventory that he had. It wasn't the full on like self-drawn, just for me symbol. But he picked her symbol, which is why she didn't have the full story on this one right here.
Okay.
Her name at the top and long life, health, and prosperity. And so in the book, this is one of the cutest things ever, but I said, we both got Biavian symbols, so when they arrive, we will both be considered and we can, live forever. So that was sort of like my gift to her earlier in the day on our wedding day, is she got a Biavian for mine.
That's awesome. That's a great wedding gift.
That's really good.
Would you like me to do that?
I mean, surprised me.
Okay.
The best I was able to do for Dave was like a wallet clip that had a really inappropriate drill tweet inscribed on it.
Love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was like the beyond meaningful thing, and there's a video like because we've got like 2 different montage videos from our wedding day, and the one of her getting ready and reading this book and getting her Biavian symbol, all the girls in the room are just like, what the fuck is happening? Because they had no idea. They were like, oh, Rusty's just being weird again. And she was crying because she knew how fucking serious it was and how awesome it was.
That's so cool.
That is
that's the perfect present.
Yeah. Gifts like that are always important if the person knows.
Yeah. Well, we got one last one here.
Oh, nice.
And so this is a sweet patch that they sent me.
Ooh. I'm sorry.
As people and couples and everything else have their own little, like quirks and things they bring up and things like that. So when, me and my wife bring up about having Biavian symbols that, when the world's on fire, we know that when the Biavians do arrive, we'll at least be considered. So everyone can understand about what's going on in 2020, but I got other things going on.
You got a backup plan. You're set.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we're going to do a little quiz that Jasmine has prepared.
Cool.
To test our knowledge of all these different visitors and abductions. So Jasmine, are you ready? Do you think Jasmine's going to explain the game? Do you want anything more you want to cover about Riley first before we begin?
The only 2 things I want to say is if I can just brag on my wife a little bit more. Next year, after getting me a Biavian symbol for my birthday, she got me a star in the National Star Treasury or whatever that named Ronnie Thunder Tits and Dicks.
That's so funny.
I can send you the coordinates. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's a fucking keeper. I knew it.
Yeah, you really did nail it.
They're like, why do you enable his behavior? And she goes, that's what he asked for. And that's what he wanted. Because I was like, what if I get a star named after me? And what's the most vulgar thing I can think of? And Ronnie Tits and Dicks is the first thing that popped in my head. And so we have that.
I think I'm secretly best friends with your wife.
I would like to plug is that in Georgia, there's things called the Georgia Guidestones on some weird tripper level things. If you don't know about the Georgia Guidestones, you should look them up. A farmer built these giant Guidestones in the late 70s, and you can go visit them. And there's apparently ancient scriptures all over it. Some say it's aliens, some say it's like druids, some say it's just a bored farmer. But it's a hot spot to stop on motorcycle rides when you're riding through getting lunch. But look up the Georgia Guidestones. It's pretty weird.
We'll put the links to all these things in the chat too. So everything like we do, we always try to link up in the notes usually about an hour after the show gets aired. So that'll all be in there.
Nice.
Cool. The Georgia Guidestones. Awesome.
Yes, Georgia Guidestones. If you ever get down here, you'll make sure you go.
Nice.